Hello, Calvario. How you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing great from home.
How are you?
I'm good. Questions? How are you?
I'm doing pretty good too.
Good, good. I'm glad to hear it. So, hey guys, it's been a very crazy week. Lots of stuff going on. We're gonna dive into on this week on what high school looks like for those of you who just transitioned from eighth grade and just got promoted. There's some big changes in the horizon, and we'll talk a little bit about that.
Okay, let's dive right in.
So that change, we can talk about what the challenges of COVID-19 in high school are doing. It's also a really good idea to stay updated with your high school to see what changes and what high school you're going to be going to or attending to for those that are already in high school. And if you're going back to the exact same school you were at before, then it'd be a good idea to see what direction they're going to be taking, because there's going to be changes. There's going to be changes both in the classroom, size of classroom, social distancing, excuse me, as well as how many other classes and how many programs will still be available for you. Like we'll talk about a little bit here as far as some of the things that could no longer be available to you. Also, please understand that these things that are enormous, are going to be a burden. They're going to possibly upset you in the fact that you may not experience the same high school that you once did, or even get to mingle with all the people that you once did at one point. Maybe after school, that'll be an opportunity for you to kind of step away from what you're doing and then get together with some of the people that you once were close to. Some of those things may be changing as well. So just remember to embrace the idea that how we communicate now is different, and how you go to school is also going to be different. Technology, videos, social media, including Zoom, and a lot of these vehicles that companies and schools and high schools are using for everybody to be together as a group. You may be doing some of this stuff from home.
High school. What was it like for those that had an opportunity to go to high school before COVID-19?
There was lots of freedom, changing classes, meeting your friends, meeting new people, and lots of things you used to take for granted, from hanging out and just having a good time, and then just learning to learning how to survive in high school has been it teaches you a lot, right? It teaches you social skills. It teaches you how to become friends with all kinds of people, and that's kind of those things that might be changing in the sense that in the new way of how things might be, that you may not experience right away. I mean, maybe if there's a vaccine, things get better, then things will go back to what it was, but we just don't see it in the horizon anytime soon. So, talking about what was it like,
Before this pandemic.
Again, we talked about the freedoms. We talked about big groups. PE, where up to 40 kids used to be in one area at one time. That's not going to be happening anytime soon. You may have classes of 10, or you may have PE with 4 groups of 10 that'll give you that 40 in different parts of the field with 4 different teachers, or one teacher really far away from all of you. So those are some changes that are going to be happening that they're not going to be very normal. They're going to kind of feel weird. Sports may be canceled, music may be canceled, dramas, arts. A lot of these clubs that used to be where a bunch of kids got together and did a club, those things may be online. They may be on a chat room where you guys are all seeing each other on the screen. That may be the new direction for a while. And again, those open campuses to mingle, that might not be the case anymore. So just going into a little bit of what Arizona is doing with high school students. Just understand that COVID has really, really, really put this huge dampener on things, where things are different, and you no longer have those freedoms that you once had, at least not for now. Understand that when you go to school, your temperature may be checked every single day. It may be checked every other hour. I don't know. It could. It just depends on the school that you're going to. They're also going to be checking to make sure you're healthy. They're going to make sure that you're not showing any other symptoms that are COVID related, which could end up sending you home and being self-isolated and staying home, because that's kind of the norm. That's going to be really big. So something to look into and start embracing that now, so that when it happens, you don't feel shocked. and you don't feel like, hey, nobody talked to me about that. That's the reason we wanted to bring it up to you and say, hey, start looking, start planning, because every high school has a website. Go in there, start reading, see what your high school is going to be doing. Understand that Arizona schools are gonna. Some of them may close. Some of them may have you go to a different district, or they may have you work from home, or they may have you go to school half of the time and then work from home half of the other time to give other students time to go to the same school, and then they alternate. Exactly. You may have 500 kids and 250 go to school half of the week, and the other 250 then go the other half of the week. But then they do the schooling from home, right? Again, we talked about planning, so please start planning, checking to see what that's going to be like, because a lot of schools are talking about starting to open in July. That means 4 weeks away from now.
Yeah.
That's not very much. 27 days literally to get ready to go back to school. Like, you're going to be like, I had no summer. Nah, you did. You had a very, very long summer. You've had months and months of staying home, right? But because there was this huge break even before the normal summer, a lot of kids haven't been in touch with their education.
Yeah.
So they're kind of falling behind. And in order for the educational system to catch up, they're going to be starting early. Now, I think for high schools, it's going to be a little bit more traditional in August.
Mm-hmm.
As much more of the grade schools are going to be opening up much sooner. But I would still check, right? Go online and check to see what day your school's going to be opening. So start doing that. And if it's one of those that's going to open early, then start planning. You're going to have to start buying your clothes for school, right? You're going to start planning on your backpack and getting all your things early, which is weird to do that right this early in the summer, but it's a reality. So, again, it's just unclear as to what is going to happen. So do your due diligence to check your school.
What will it be like? As a whole, the world is getting used to having everything delivered. Hence, Amazon now is the biggest monopoly in the world. Classes are going to be much like that, with a limited number of students. Teachers will change class instead of you. They will come to you. Core classes where the same students stay together at all times. Mm-hmm. Eat together and play together and learn together. School from home. School schedule that will require both school and home to fit more students in classrooms. Laptops to work from home. Online schooling and testing, as well as shared teachers across the country. And mandatory COVID-19 vaccine.
Yep. So, and then just touch a little bit on that core classes. A lot of high school classes are talking about maybe having 20 students in one classroom, 10 on one side, 10 on the other, as separated as much as possible. Usually that's 6 feet apart from each other. And those students stay in that classroom for 8 hours. So if they have English, then they all have English, and then the English teacher comes in, and then he leaves, and then the math teacher comes in. So instead of the students actually walking around, to minimize the risk of COVID, the teachers are going to be coming to you. That's a big change that has never been seen, at least not in high school. I've seen that in grade school, and I've also seen it in junior high, but not in high school. So that's going to be a weird change, and it's going to be maybe even frustrating, because you're going to be stuck in that one classroom all day long. So that's a pretty big change that's coming. And then, of course, they may say at the last minute, somewhere around June 25th, we found a vaccine for COVID, and you have to have it before you go to school. Then you're going to have to start planning on getting your shot to be able to go back to school. And it may be that the alternative is you cannot go to school, you have to do it from home. And that could be a change. So if you don't have your vaccine, you can't go to school. That means you have to do homeschooling. That means you have to do all of your stuff. You have to do all of your stuff in your house through a laptop, and all your classes through a laptop. So again, that's gonna be something to look forward into as well. So just keep some stuff to keep in mind. So excuse me, the alternative is the one scenario where nothing changes, you go back to high school and everything is the same. But again, high school is running a really high risk of people getting infected, because maybe not the students, But what about all the staff, right? The teachers. The second portion of that, some schools may not have enough money to completely open, or enough enrollments to get enough money to run for the rest of the year. So they may ask you to take a bus to a different district, or they may ask you to get a laptop, start learning from home. Again, some things to keep in mind. So because funding is based on students, and again, we talked about having to share teachers. You may have a laptop and have to tune into a teacher who's going to be giving a class to maybe 1 million kids throughout the country. And that may be the teacher you may have for that hour, and then still do all your testing through this teacher. Those are some possibilities that their school districts are talking about, especially if they don't have enough teachers. Distancing, just remember, it's gonna happen. There's just gonna be no way around it. You're gonna be asked to keep your distance. You're gonna be asked to wear your mask. You're gonna be asked to follow those norms, and not to follow them could mean suspension and not going back to school. So again, start thinking of what that might look like. So what can you do?
Stay focused and pray for guidance. Allow God to lead the way as He has control. Adjust your learning to the options that are available to you, and stay connected and continue to go to church and keep your high school ministry going strong.
Absolutely. The more you can stay connected, the more information we can give you, the more that we can share, because you're going to be tested. You're going to be it's going to come to a point where you're going to be so busy with school and all this stuff that you're doing online. So say we send you a video, or say something's on, or church is on Sunday, you'll be like, think about it. If you can open up a screen and watch church, but then open up another screen and watch YouTube or play a video game, are you really going to be putting attention? Just little things to think about, right? So keep praying that school, schools get back to normal. Keep praying that church opens up again, and that we can worship, and that we can dedicate just time to worship God and time to learn as well. So keep that in prayer, and then definitely just allow God to lead that direction.
Church, this is a point in time where many Christians will be tested. Many will have the chance to substitute church with other things. If it's up to you to stay connected to church via internet or live, will you attend? Will you stay focused if you have the ability to share a screen? Will you follow others and ignore your Christianity? These are questions you should be asking yourself.
Yes, they're very important. Why? Because you're going to be facing these questions pretty soon, and you're going to probably find yourself right in the middle of them. And we want you to start thinking early, how can I stay connected? And we've been saying it all through videos, is you got to stay connected, and a lot of you do an amazing job worshiping God and just staying strong in your faith. But it's also really easy to stray. It's easy to get caught up with the world, and then excuse me, and put God second. One of the things we talked about is accountability partner.
Stay connected. If you don't have one, it's time to find your accountability partner. Your partner will have the same expectation you have for them and hold you accountable to yourself and God. Bible study, Calvario High School Ministry and Worship. Prayer for Calvario and all its ministries and leaderships. And reach out to the church for prayer and direction.
Absolutely. I mean, we're available, right? And at the end of our presentation, we always have our numbers and the email that you can reach out to us as well. So that's this is our feedback screen again that has that information. There is a lot of confusion as to what's going on with the schools, and even the schools are consistently meeting with their leaders and educating boards and the governing board of the state of Arizona to try to come up with a very unified way of trying to do things for all the school districts. But at the end of the day, you really have to do your own research to see what's going to happen and to see where you stand. So don't ignore that. Don't wait till the last day to figure out where am I going to go. Don't apply to school late because they may not take you, right? You want to make sure that if you want to go to a particular school, you're doing your homework right now. Literally, if you didn't apply for a high school while you were in 8th grade because you were waiting for something else, now is the time to do it. Now is the time to get connected and figure out where you want to go to school. For those of you that are going to high school, You want to make sure that, hey, that high school is going to still be available for you, and you want to know where you fit in on that schedule for that school. Again, just food for thought, and understand that if things progress in the direction that they're taking, I mean, this week's been a very tough week with lots of riots, with lots of protests, a lot of things that we've been seeing on TV. But keep your mind clear and understand that a lot of these things are also distractions from where we're supposed to be. Because as Christians, we can disagree with the establishment, with the police, with the government, and when things are done, but we can pray. We can take a different direction and seek guidance through God. So we're gonna close it down with a prayer, and we're just gonna ask that those things can go back to where they were at in before this COVID time. You wanna close us with the prayer, please?
Yeah. God, I thank you for allowing us to live another day peacefully and where we have trust in you and we have faith in you. I pray that you may bless the families that are watching us, bless my family, and bless the families that are not able to watch us, God. I pray that you may open doors for high school and the 8th graders heading into the high school. I pray that you may see where you may allow us to have wisdom and faith in you to lead us to this time of the protest and this COVID, God. I pray in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. So thank you guys for tuning in for another video, and we'll see you guys next time.